So I reached out to you because I disagreed with your wording of how Black women are the ones who are generally extractive of resources from men, and that white women don't do this. And the reason why I disagreed with it isn't because it isn't inherently true. It's because, along with your other content, it's just really contradictory, right? And when you say it like that, I just feel like you're saying it as a inherently biological thing that is only exclusive to Black women.
When I hear you all speak, I'm often holding in chuckles. Last time a woman did what you did, which is to say, she came on, said something that was completely irrational, and then I started laughing afterward because in that particular case, I couldn't hold it in. And then there were women in the audience, and they said, "That's disrespectful. You can't just laugh at her." I felt like it was a lot less disrespectful to chuckle as opposed to calling her brainless. I asked the young lady before she came on, and I said to her, I said, "Why do you want to debate this?" And she conceded. She says, "Well, I never thought of that." And I'm not surprised. Well, if you say, "Marquette, why do you want to debate this?" Well, the reason that I want to debate this, well, frankly, honestly, I don't, but the reason why I am debating it is because I am pushing forward a cultural reform, and I'm pushing forward a civilizing force. To what end? To build strong families. Families are the basis of a successful and healthy society. And at the basis of a family is the man and the woman, with the man as the leader. And for them to come together in the proper term, the woman cannot be extractive. When the woman is extractive and she's pursuing money, not the man, then any man will do, and you don't need to stick with the man, which means that you're not going to build strong families, which is to say, to stay together, create children, lineage, and be able to add value to the society. That's why I'm debating it, because I have a purpose. Most of the people who come on to debate me are dim-witted, or they're seeking clout, or they are degenerate, and that's why they're defending a way of life that is fundamentally unproductive and in some cases destructive. So now you understand why I am doing it. You've had at least 20 minutes to think on why you're debating. Why are you debating? Don't answer it just yet. Just I'm giving you a little more time to think on it. Why are you debating? And with regards to the ad hominem piece, the reason that I address people's circumstances, yes, their circumstances, meaning what resulted in their life from their behaviors, is because the way you live your life is also an argument. It is a Eurocentric view that you cannot address that. In Marquettian thinking, we do address that because this is a discourse with a capital D. If I were to preach about men and women, but you find out that I'm a homosexual male, then you'd have to question, well, why is he doing it? Or does what he says not make sense so he can't live it out? So I yield the floor to you to answer the question.
So I'm debating this because I want to engage with ideas which I don't agree with, right? So when you do that, you're open to new perspectives, and you're opening yourself up to new ways of thinking. So, and plus, I just think that you're wrong, right? Even with your wording of it, it's just the whole, you've said a lot of things, right? So, is it okay if I respond to all of them?
Okay,
Or,
let me just address what you said. So you said you want to open yourself up to a new way of thinking. That's a lie, because all you have to do is listen to do that. So that's a lie. And then secondly, you said because I'm wrong. Now I find this to be very interesting, the level of hubris that we find consistently. I would never, ever in my life dream of talking to a grown man who is nearly twice my age, highly successful, well educated, sophisticated, and experienced, and tell him out of my 19-year-old mouth and my massive level of ignorance that I know better than he does, even if I thought I might. I would never say that. Number one, because I was raised well. Number two, because I was smart enough to not look stupid in public. Now, you, on the other hand, are taking a degree in accounting in an era where you have access to a ton of information to know that that's actually not a good degree to take in the era of AI. And then you get on this live and you articulate yourself and you are extremely illogical. You start off stating, I feel, which I think is accurate. So the idea that a 19-year-old from a country that is a backward country is on here explaining to me that you know better, all the while in the background, I can literally hear the beeping from your fire alarm, which merely just needs a battery change. And the fact that you would come on here with your fire alarm beeping in the background because you don't want to spend $3 on a battery to get it to stop beeping, or just take it down and remove the battery that's clearly discharged. You haven't even done the basics. So it lets me know the kind of parents you have, and it lets me know the kind of person you are. All of those things matter, and it helps me understand you fairly quickly. And with superior IQ, I take a small amount of information, I can make meaningful extrapolations. That is why Napoleon Bonaparte could look at a battlefield and figure out the solution faster than everyone else. I yield the floor.
Okay. So, well, Marquette, English is my third language. So,
Please don't tell us that lie, dear. Don't tell us that lie. We won't stand for it. You're from what country, madam? South
South
Africa, right?
Africa.
Thank you. English is the language of instruction from the very beginning all the way through. Do not be dishonest here. We do not respect that.
So, I don't live at home since you want
Are
to
you
talk
going to
about
apologize for, are you going to apologize for trying to lie to 1,000 people watching this live stream?
what did I lie about exactly?
Are you telling me that English is not the language of instruction in South Africa?
Okay,
A yes or no will do. A yes or no will do.
it is the language of instruction in
It is
South
the
Africa.
language of instruction. So you're telling me that from your very first time in school, which could have been like, I don't know, 7 years old, all the way to now, you were literally taught in English. You're now 19 years old. That's a minimum of 12 years of formal education in English. But here's the thing, all of the signage is in English. All the television shows that you watched are in English. And probably your family spoke English to you as well. So you're telling me that at minimum, you've had 12 years of instruction in English in a country where English is the national language. And then you say, oh, English is my third language. Madam, we can't take you seriously. You're a dishonest person. You're disingenuous.
Can I please speak without you interrupting me?
Yes, you can. But would you first start by admitting that that was a very dishonest thing to do?
That was a dishonest thing for me to do.
Thank you. And
So,
again, don't try to fool people with more experience than you. It's hard. It's very difficult. I yield the floor.
so I really came on here to talk about the claim and that video. And
Sure.
since the beginning, you've just made attacks on my character.
Oh,
So
wow.
have a good night. This was
Oh,
lovely.
oh,
I'm
poor
choosing to not
thing.
engage in this. I
Poor
think
thing. You realize that you're outmatched. You're in a place where the fire alarm keeps going off and you refuse to replace a 9-volt battery. It's $3, madam. It's $3. It just shows me everything we need to know about you. And mind you, in America, that's a stereotype for foundational black Americans, that they don't do the basic, easy things. And I
you're
condemn them.
you've been interrupting me since. Like you're just why are you interrupting me?
You're making up lies, madam. You've not been interrupted in a significant way. You just can't handle the truth.
I can handle the truth. It's just that I wanted to talk about, you're trying to derail it in a way. This is what you do. You're trying to derail it in a way that I look irrational and that I get emotional instead of you actually talking about the clay, Marquette. You can't actually debate. That's not how you debate. It's not how you talk about conversations, about issues. It's not you
Madam,
attacking my character.
you're having
You know
trouble
nothing.
understanding the
You
point. You're having
listen.
trouble understanding the
I
point,
don't.
miss.
This is not my
You're a
house.
child. You're a child who's inexperienced and arrogant.
Oh,
You are the result of the white society. They've enculturated you to behave and think like an animal. You were offended when I explained I explained the fact that you're literally on here just because you're arrogant. You don't even have a greater purpose. You're not trying to correct anything in the society. You're not trying to make the world a better place. You've done nothing for anyone, and you can't even do anything for yourself because you're just a silly child. And when I asked you what's your purpose, you lied. And first you said to get a new perspective. You could just sit down and shut up and get a
how
new
is that a
perspective by
lie?
listening and learning. I just explained. You can sit down and shut up
Well,
and listen to get a new perspective. You're not trying to get a new perspective. You're trying to forward your perspective, which is not even your own. You learned it from the whites.